Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Silver's worst nightmare has arrived. Its biggest enemy, which is affecting the precious metals world. What is this? We are going to be talking about why gold and silver are in the red, in the negative, and also what we can do about it. So before we jump into this video, make sure you smash that like button. You know what, let's put a 500 like goal on this video. I definitely think we can hit that, especially with the amount of support lately. Also, make sure you're subscribed, especially nowadays, because I give you the newest, latest, freshest, most up-to-date, recent information in the world of precious metals on a daily basis. So you want to be subscribed. Now, with that said, let's jump into the video. So there is some support around $26.75, right? It held its ground there. So there is some stability. There is some foundation with silver prices when they do drop, right? They're not going to drop too low. But what is happening? Now, we talk about the value of the dollar, fiat currency, the dollar's true value, which is basically nothing, essentially nothing. The dollar's lost 98% of its purchasing power due to hyperinflation, right? Rapidly pumping dollars into a system, over saturating, over flooding, impregnating the market, making the dollars essentially worthless. And we know on a global scale, people are backing out or losing faith in the dollar. They're pulling away, countries are pulling away from using the USD as their form of reserve currency, right? And that's bad news, because since the dollar isn't backed by gold and silver anymore, it's solely based and valued off of faith, how much people believe it is. So even though right now the dollar might be appreciating a little bit from stuff going on in the economy, the end all be all picture is still going to be the dollar burning and crashing. That's why you got to take action and invest into something with intrinsic value, because no fiat-based system has ever worked. Go check out my second channel, link in the description. I made a video a couple days ago titled "America is Poor." That video dives extremely deep into the reality of our financial system and what's happening in the reality, exposing it. A lot of people try to push it out of sight, out of mind. If I just don't read that stuff, it's not happening. Or if I don't think about it, it's not going to happen. Well, that's extremely dangerous, because that means you're not preparing for when it does happen. Because regardless if you want to believe it or not, or if you want to acknowledge it or not, it's still going to happen. And the only part about that is, if you're not acknowledging it, then when it does happen, you're not prepared, and then you're the one that's going to get hit the hardest. You got to prepare for this stuff, guys and gals. You got to prepare for this stuff. Silver stackers are prepared, we understand, but most people aren't. A lot of people don't even know what's going on. They think America's rich, not knowing that we're $27 trillion in debt. So anyways, I'll shut up about that. That was just my little intro I wanted to give before we really dive into this article, because this stuff is definitely important knowledge that we all need to know. So this article is titled, "Should you be buying dips in gold price, silver price?" So should you buy the dips? Right now, gold and silver are relatively low compared to the past 2 weeks. And this also offers opportunity. It's a glass half full, glass half empty type situation, right? You can either look at this and say, oh man, silver's starting to correct, or silver's crashing, or silver prices are low. Why did I invest in this? I might as well get out, or that was a false flag. It's not really rallying. Or you can look at it as, wow, silver's cheaper right now. I might as well buy it while it's cheap, because I know the price is going to go back up. So not only does it depend on your faith in the market, but it also depends on how long you are. If you're investing and planning on selling in a couple of years, what you do and how you invest is going to look different than someone that's not planning to sell for 10, 20, 30 years. The everyday price of silver is essentially irrelevant, and spot price is essentially irrelevant as well. Why is that, Silver Slayer? That doesn't make sense. Well, let me put it like this. Silver's true value is the 1 ounce of silver inside of it. So regardless of who says that 1 ounce coin is worth what, the real value of the silver is the metal content inside the 1 ounce of silver. Now, I hope that made sense, and I hope that brought a new perspective into into this video. So should you be buying the dips in gold and silver prices? So The US dollar rally has been stealing the attention from gold and silver, making the recovery in precious metals price more difficult. But can this dollar rally be trusted? Or should investors be focusing on buying the current dips in gold and silver instead? What should you do? Should you hold your money in fiat, or should you start to take advantage of this dip in precious metals? The dollar gold correlation will be one of the primary drivers for the precious metal in the short term, right? The correlation between the US dollar and gold remains intact to dictate price action over the near term, with the DXY index holding towards 93. The US dollar index saw a boost after the Fed published its FOMC meeting minutes, which created some confusion. At least half of the downturn in gold was attributable to the evening publication of the minutes of the FOMC meeting on July 29th. They contained no indication of any imminent yield curve control, and this is likely to have prompted some market participants who had been betting on this happening to square their positions, said Commerce Bank. In response, the US dollar began to rise, weighing on gold. The USD found a solid short covering rally, having its best one-way gain since March 30th. So after the Fed minutes were released, the market continued to be concerned with what could potentially be introduced at the upcoming September Fed meeting. So you can see how a lot of this is based off of speculation nowadays. It's not even about what they're saying, it's about what they think they're saying. And that thinking part, that assumption part, is dangerous. Precious metals shouldn't have room for speculation. It should be solely going off of supply and demand, right? Supply and demand, real factors in the environment, especially with silver as it's an industrial metal. You know, gold can make some sense because it is a little bit of a commodity, but silver, being an asset and industrially, it should have no room for speculation. And that's scary. You know, things like stock markets or cryptocurrency could be based more off speculation, but not precious metals, in my opinion. And now seeing it starting to come more into the market and affect the market is a little worrisome. So one point I will make here is on the daily charts, we've seen some key day reversal plays and it's through the USD, AUD, Euro, printing a lower high and a lower low. I feel the Fed will remain dovish. There is little doubt about that when Congress can't agree on fiscal spending. But with the market questioning the September meeting and having a definitive change of policy here, will the market alter its short USD position accordingly? It leads us to think next week Jackson Hole Symposium will be one to watch and a volatility event. And remember, volatility is only more opportunity, higher highs and lower lows, bigger gaps, more room to make money. So let's dive around because this article is pretty long. So I don't think, let's go into this. So the dollar is looking like a simple recovery from a crowded short dollar trade, which has dominated the past few months. Phoenix Futures Options and LLC President Kevin Grady told Kitco a lot of people were shorting the dollar. Right now, we are seeing a correction in the market. However, that does not change the long-term picture where gold is heads higher and the US dollar is lower. And that's kind of what I was referring to in the beginning of the video, is you got to remember the bigger picture. Yes, things are going to change. The dollar might strengthen a little bit here and there, you know, and silver and gold might dip a little here and there, but the bigger picture is the dollar is still going to crash and burn, and gold and silver is still going to hold its value. Whether you want to acknowledge that or agree to it or not, that's what's going to happen. It's what always has happened for 5,000 years since the beginning of man. So anyways, I don't think the picture for gold really changed. You continue to see sharp rallies in gold after price pullbacks, Grady pointed out. There is a lot of retail players in the gold space right now, trading in the micro contracts and playing with short-term speculation. That speculation word there again, those guys that are moving the market. The US dollar is also likely to weaken further once the new US stimulus package is finally approved. And here we go again. That's why you got to think of the bigger picture. Yes, there could be a rise in the US dollar right now, but remember, we still have trillion-dollar stimulus packages being put together as we speak. So if another stimulus package comes out it will weaken the dollar. A lot of people are looking for stimulus, and it didn't come yet, which is also why we're seeing a short-term dollar rally. The fundamentals for precious metals remains bullish. Gold should be above $2,000 by year end. Trade talks with China are not seeing anything definitive. Also, the amount of stimulus that has gone into the markets and low interest rates will keep a bid on gold. So, another important point is to keep in mind is that the weaker US dollar does not necessarily mean that the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency is in jeopardy. And that's also what I was referring to in the beginning of the video when I was saying that countries were pulling out of using the US dollar as their reserve currency. And I still think the USD will always be that, for especially, for right now. I don't think that's in jeopardy like this article says, but it's definitely weighing on the value of it and how much pull it has. A lot of people are saying that the US dollar is losing its status as the world's reserve currency. I disagree with that. A lot of countries have pushed out stimulus packages. The US has just been more aggressive. It will help bring economies out of a recession quicker. I don't see any change in the currency regime. And that's basically what this article is talking about. And I really hope that this made sense. I hope this video made sense. I know there's a lot of new stackers, a lot of new investors, a lot of new people and money coming into the gold and silver world, the precious metals world, but I hope you understand the financial, the monetary side of it, or at least piece together this puzzle. Because what's happening in the economy, along with the dollar, is heavily affecting precious metals prices, whether you like that or not. So the best thing to do is to get educated on this stuff to the best of your ability. That's also why I started my second channel, Silver Slayer 2, where I'm not talking about precious metals on that channel. That channel is primarily focused on money, on finances, the economy, FOMC, stimulus packages. That second channel that I created is solely on how corrupt our financial system is. This channel focuses primarily on precious metals. My second channel is about the corrupt system, and they're both equally as important to understand because they do go hand in hand and they're very intertwined. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. The link to this article from Kitco will be in the description. If you thought this video was educational, informational, or at least just entertaining, make sure to smash that like button. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.